Okay, this is the assignment you are going to do. Okay, the last week I told you, you need to find a case study and do the assignment. I changed that into, I have given you some requirements. You need to enhance these requirements and create the SRS. Okay. Here, this is the incomplete software requirement definition. There are some questions. You need to answer the questions. I think I have changed this deadline because it has been mentioned as September, not September, February 26th. Okay. That's the deadline. Okay. First you need to do is, this is a requirement definition. You know what is the requirement definition since you have learned software system analysis and design. Okay. First you need to do is improve the software requirement definition using your own suggestions for the system and rewrite it. That means you can improve it. This is based on the blood donation, the web-based blood donation system. So you can improve by adding some requirements or modify this and write it again. Okay. Then you need to create SRS. You know how to create SRS. I have taught you the last week SRS format. Today also I will give you some instruction how to make the SRS. Then after you can upload to the LMS. It's the deadline. Okay. Do you have any question regarding the assignment? This one, assignment 1. Anything to know? Okay, for the word count, like how I will mention you about the word count. No need to bother about the word count. What you have written, you can upload. Okay, at least like around 5 to 6 pages. Okay. Okay, the marks is 20% I have allocated for this SRS. That means out of 20 you can get for this assignment. Any other questions? This is very easy. Yes, for the diagrams, if you are unable to find softwares, you can draw by your hand like manual and take photos, and you can put photos to the SRS. If you are, and even if you are unable to create a soft copy, you can make a hard copy and send photos to me. Okay, you can upload the photos. Any other questions? If no any questions, I will show you there are 2 formats. This is very easy formats for creating SRS. Okay. Let's see. Okay. This is a simple format of SRS. Today I will upload this format to our LMS. Can you see this one? Okay, this is a sample. This has been the university, my university, which we have created for the Imagine Cup, the SRS. This is very simple format. Okay, you can follow this format if you are unable to follow the previous format, the last week format. Okay, the short description, what you are going to do, then the scenarios, each interfaces you can describe. Okay, then these are the summary of application components. What are the summary? Smart client, what you have, you can include. This is the architecture. You can draw a diagram, architecture, then user interfaces, prototypes, and also you can include like use case diagram into this. Okay, the next one. Another format. Okay, this is the next one. This is better than the previous one. Okay. Here you can give the short description. What are the user scenarios? If you have any assumptions, you can mention here the assumptions. Then the scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, scenario 4. Then you can mention what are the functional requirement, non-functional requirement. Here under the functional requirement, you can draw diagrams, use case diagrams. These are the non-functional requirement, architecture, what are the technology you need. These are the summaries, user interfaces, okay. This is another format. If you can find a separate format other than these format from the internet, if you want to follow this, you can follow it, okay. That is the assignment, that the deadline will be on 26th February. Any questions regarding this assignment? If no, we can start the lesson. Anything to know from me? Afan, is it clear for you? Marks is out of 20 assignment this way. This is the first assignment. I hope to give another one assignment out of 10. This is the first one. There are 2 assignments. For this one, 20 marks. The second one, 10 marks. Razangika, what do you mean by first part? Assignment first part.
Question. Yes, madam.
Improve the above software requirement definition using your own suggestion for the system and rewrite it. That means here not include all the requirements like bed blood donation system. If you want, you can add something more. Like registering, adding means adding functional requirements. As a user, you think that you are going to use the system, you are going to develop the system, and you are going to give that requirement for the developer. So you can add some requirement. That's what I mean for the part 1. Did you get? Razangika?
Yes, madam. Thank you. Yes, madam.
Okay. If no, any questions? Today we are going to start the designing of the requirement. After getting the requirement specification, the business analyst, that means you are the people who become the business analyst, okay? You can be able to draw the designing part of the system. Now, today we are going to learn the designing part of the system. Okay, now I'm going to share the screen here. Designing, okay? Software engineering, the software design. These are the learning outcomes. Read them. Okay, what is it? Understand the activities involved in the designing process. There are designing techniques and principles. You can be able to learn designing principles and what are the techniques, what are the possible software architectures. You can be able to prepare design specification document at last. That means that like SRS, here the outcome is design specification document. What is this design? Designing is a meaningful engineering representation of something that is to be built. That means that after gathering the requirement, you need to convert that requirement into meaningful representation. That is the design. Okay. It is like transferring requirement into implementation version. Like you have the requirement, you are going to transform them into implementable version of the software system. That is the design. These are the design activities. The first one is you are going to identify the subsystem. Okay, can you tell me what is a subsystem? Anyone? What is a subsystem? If you are unable to talk, you can send me a chat. Okay. What is a system? What is a system? Yes, subsystem is collection of subsystem. Then subsystem we call as collection of modules. We can create a subsystem. Okay. Then what is a module? The module is the similar functions you can be able to make together and create a module. That is the module. Okay. After identify the subsystem, you can be able to identify the components. Components are under the subsystem. Then what are the software architecture? Data design means ER diagram, how your data comes. Interface design, algorithm design means how you are going to write down the pseudocode. Then design specification. Why the software design is important? Read this. Okay, a good design is the key for successful software system. That means if you want to develop a successful software, you need to have a good design. Okay, that's why we need design. And also easy to maintain. That means if you need modification later, like the customer's request for some modifications, if you have a good design, it's easy to modify. Okay, and also it can be able to achieve non-functional requirements like reliability, performance, reusability, portability using good design. And also good design facilitate the development and management process of a software project. That's what the good design can do. These are the principles of design. Abstraction, modularity, information hiding. This is called the encapsulation. Next one is polymorphism. Okay, first things, abstraction. Read what is abstraction. Okay, at the beginning there are 5, now only 3 students. Why is that a 5? Okay, read what is abstraction. Okay, abstraction means without considering the lower level details, we are considering only the higher level details. That is the abstraction. Okay. Here example, the class. In object-oriented, did you learn a class? What is a class? In object-oriented design, what is a class? Class is an abstract concept. Okay, we create class based on the abstraction concept. What is a class? Do you know what is a class in object-oriented? What you can represent using a class? Attributes and methods. Okay. Then the abstraction is without considering the lower level details of the class. You can consider only the higher level details. Example, car. You are not going to car the engine model, engine type or anything. You are mentioning like what is the color of the car, what is the model of the car. That's the abstraction level. Did you understand what is abstraction? That means without considering the lower level implementation, we are considering only the higher level implementation in the abstraction. Okay, the next term, here you can see the abstraction. There are two abstraction. Develop software that will perform 2D drafting, that is called the CAD. Abstraction 1, abstraction 2. In abstraction 1, software will include a computer graphic interface which will enable to, like, you can read this, okay, abstraction. Here, okay, at last we have stopped. Abstraction we have discussed, modularity, coupling, information hiding, encapsulation. Okay, today we are going to start from design considerations. Like here, read this, the consideration first. That means how we can design the reusable software. This is very important part, is how you can design the reusable software. So the reusability is very important here. If you have developed a reusable software, these are the benefits that you can be able to get. The first one is you can be able to increase the reliability. Reliability of the software is high. And also reduce the risk. Risk can be reduced if the components are reused. And effective use of specialist, standard compliance, accredited development is here. Okay, in here, this is an example. This is a print service. Okay, can you tell me what are the reusable components here? What are the reusable components? Yes? Here you can see what are the components here. These all are reusable. That means get file, first one is the print, get queue, remove, transfer, register, unregister, printer, that means printer inline, get PDF file, then these are the components. So you can be able to develop the reusable component for these components. Okay, let's see what are the tasks of each component. Read them first. Okay, the first one is get PDF file. That is the service to retrieve like printer description, file, or what is the printer type. That is the command. Printer in, that means service to transfer command to a specific printer. That's the component, that service or a component which transfer the commands to the specific printer. The next one is print. It is the service to print a document. Next is get queue. Discover the state of a print queue. Next is remove a job from the queue. Transfer a job to another queue. Register printer with the printing service component. Unregister printer. Okay, the next is software architecture. How you can design the software architecture. Okay, before designing the architecture, you should know what is the software architecture. Okay, read these two paragraphs. Means you are going to establish the basic framework for the system. Okay, so you need to identify what are the major components of the system, then how they are communicate to each other. Okay, so in a large system, you have set of subsystems which provide the service to the system. Okay, so in the initial stage, you need to identify what are the subsystems when you are going to establish the framework. So how they are communicate to each other, that is the architectural design. Okay. Okay, what is a subsystem? What is a component? You need to identify the difference. Read them. A subsystem is a system in its own right. All operations are not depend on the service provided by the other subsystem. So subsystem is like set of modules. So can be able to identify the interfaces which communicate with other subsystems. Then what is a component? It is a module. Normally the system component, that means one or more services to the other modules. Okay. And service provided by other modules can be able to obtain. It is an independent system. So number of other simple systems you can be able to provide service. Okay. Before going to the next slide, take the example. Library management system. identify subsystems and components here. Okay, you need to identify in a library management system what are the subsystems and components. Do this now. You can send me the answer after identifying. Yes, if you have written the answer, you can send me the answer. Okay, this is an activity, you can do it. If you have identified the concept like what is a component, what is a subsystem, you can be able to answer this. In the library management system, what are the components and what are the subsystems? For the components, I got a one answer. I'm waiting for others, okay? Yes, Afan is yes, he is correct. Here the components, books, members, staff, that are the components means modules. The subsystem, that means under the each components, what are the things like member registration, placing order, reminder, fine calculator, review, creating an account, okay, book registration, those are the sub components. Okay. He's the only one I got the answer. Anyone else who written the answer? Who has written the answer? No. Only one answer. Okay. Okay, the next one is system structuring. What is system structuring? Read it. That means we can be able to structure the system into number of principal subsystems. So the subsystem is the independent one. There's a communication between subsystem. You can be able to identify here when you are doing the system structuring. The next one is control modeling. So the general model of the control relationship between the part of the system, here you can be able to establish the control, how you are going to control the components. The next is modular decomposition. Each identified subsystem is decomposing to modules. The architect must decide on the type of the module and their interconnection. That is the modular decomposition. Here, this is the example. In this example, can you identify the modules and subsystem? Identify the modules and the subsystem. Like, I mean the components and the subsystems. Here, can you identify the subsystems and modules? This is an example for vision system. Identify the subsystems and modules here. the subsystems, vision system is not a subsystem of one, it is the system. So you cannot take the vision system as a subsystem. Okay? So try to identify the modules and the subsystems. Still identifying. It's very easy. What are the subsystems and the modules? Here, the subsystems object identification system. No need to think about other than this what you have gained from the figure. Okay. Then the modules, arm controller, gripper controller, packing selection system, packing system. Then the convey controller is another system. Then you may get together like packing selection system and packing system. When you get together, it called a subsystem. Okay. Okay, the next is a repository model. What is this repository model? Read this one first. So when the data is communication in between subsystem system, you need to make a central database. That means all subsystem can be able to access. So it is called the shared database repository model. Okay. So the one subsystem, the real time, if the data is generated, the other subsystem can be able to see that data. Okay. Example, this ERP system. Okay. There are repository models available, tools, there is a CAT, and case tools are available as the repository models. Here the example, the project repository, it is connected with design editor, design translator, design analyzer, design generator, the code generator, and the program editor. All are connected all together. The real-time information is shared here. Okay, what are the advantages of repository model? Read them first. So the repository, it is efficient way to share large amount of data. So one subsystem to another subsystem, so easy to get backups and access control like putting passwords and username. Recovery is very easy. Okay, so the repository is responsible person is the repository manager. So he's the person, if someone is updating the things, he's responsible person. Okay, the model of sharing is visible through the repository schema. So it's straightforward and integrated tool to everyone. Okay, these are the disadvantages of repository model. Read them. Okay, we have stopped disadvantages. Okay, read what are the disadvantages. All subsystems need to be agree with the repository model. That means compatibility. If not supported, you cannot share the data with all subsystems. Okay. And also, if you want to add a new subsystem, if the new subsystem not support for the repository model, it's difficult to do maintenance. Okay. As well as the sharing data. And also evolution may be difficult as a large volume of information is generated with that data model. So not supported with new model. Okay. So the different subsystems are having different requirements like security, recovery, backup policies. So it's difficult to maintain with that different requirements. Okay, what is this client-server model? I think you all have heard the term client-server model. Read this first. In the client-server architecture, you have the client set of machines and the server machine. Okay, so the server communicate with the clients. So the client make requests for the server. Server is responding to that request. That is how the client-server works. Okay, so client get the service. The service providing the service. That is the client-server model. Here you can see the client-server model example. These are the client, this is the network, and these are some providing services using the server machine to the clients. Okay. Read this example, the client-server model. Same, the picture is describing here. Okay. So the client is integrated with that user interface and providing the service. Okay, I'm not going to describe this the paragraph. You can read. Okay, the next is the software engineering. That means the designing part. How you can design the interfaces. This is very important. Okay, so it is a very success of the system depend on that interface designing. So you need to do the best for the designing of the interfaces. So that is how the user can be able to gain more experience on that interfaces. Okay. Okay, that is a GUI designing. Okay. So you need to consider these things. Read them. What are the advantages of GUI? Always you need to do the GUI. That means using GUI is easy to learn and easy to use. Okay. If the user is not having the experience on the computer, also can be able to gain good experience using GUI. Okay. And also having multiple screens for the system interaction and switching one to one is possible using GUI. Okay. And it is fast, full screen interaction is possible with the immediate access to screen. These are the characteristics of GUI. Windows, icons, menus, pointing, and graphics. That is called the VIMPG. Read them. What are the characteristics? Okay, the first one is Windows. You have multiple windows like different information to be displayed simultaneously on the screen. And icons are available like represent the information. You can use icons. Menus like commands. If you want to select from the menu, they are available. Pointing device like mouse, you can be able to use to indicate live directions. Graphic elements can be used to display things. This is the process of user interface design. Okay. Let's see what you can do. The first, you need to analyze and understand user activities. Then you can come up with a basic design like a prototype. Then you can evaluate that design with the users. Okay. Then you design the prototype. This is some kind of a repetitive task. At last, you are going to come up with the dynamic design prototype, evaluate design with the end users, executable prototype, and implement final user interface. That is the last part. These are the principles of user interface design. Read them first. the first one, user familiar. That means interface always need to use terms and concept which is familiar to users. Okay, which is from the user's experience, you can be able to use that words. Consistency, the interface should be consistent. Okay, like if you are using the buttons where the button is in and the menus all need to be consistent. Recoverability include like mechanism to recover. If any errors happen, how you are going to recover. And user guidance need to be there, like meaningful feedback for the user. If the error is happening, how they can be able to overcome that errors. And diversity need to be there with the interaction of the users. Okay, when you are select the colors in interface design, these are the considerations for the color design and the color selection. Read them first. There are 5. First read. Here you should not use more than 4 5 colors in a one window. Okay, so you need to select these consistency need to be there, the color selection, and you can use color change when the system changes, status change. You can display some colors. Okay, significant for them. Okay, and you can use color codings to support the tasks which users are trying to perform in that color coding. And you can be able to careful about color pairing, like red and blue. The red is for the displaying the errors. Okay, so use color coding in useful and consistent way, displaying error messages using red colors like that. Okay, there are 4 software design techniques: top down, bottom up, structured design, object oriented design. Already you have learned structured design and object oriented design. Okay, let's see what are they. Okay, first read what is top down design. Okay, here the top down means you are starting the highest level of the abstraction and then go to the lower. Okay, here you don't have any idea about the lower level, and version of the system is available after doing the testing and evaluation. Okay, so it's very hard to identify the old system components at the beginning. So the beginning you start with that, then go to the lower level. The next one is bottom up design. Read this one. Okay, this is the opposite of the top-down design. So starting with the detail of the system and like the lower level details, you go to the top. Okay. So finally you get the good architecture here. So the later stages you can be able to available a good version of the system. Now, can you tell me what is structured design and object-oriented design? Because I haven't explained it to you. Who's going to give me an answer here? What is object-oriented and what is structured design? Anyone?